So good evening all of you. Can you all hear me and can you see the screen clearly first of all? So please type in the chat box, can you hear me clear and can you see the screen clearly? So many of you might have know, many of the mechanical students as well and as well as the other branch students, you know, today we have appeared for one exam which is the NLCIL, Naval Lignite Corporation of India Limited. Now we'll try to analyze the question paper that appeared today exclusively for mechanical. Okay, and now if you quickly try to know what are the contents that are being asked in that exam, you know, this was completely divided into two parts. One is non-technical and technical, which is of your professional knowledge, correct? And this is the similar pattern in many of the exams that are being asked nowadays. They just want to test your aptitude skills and also your technical skills, correct? So as well as, you know, in this exam also they have conducted into two parts. You know, they have made some questions from non-technical and also from technical, which includes your professional knowledge or your core subject. Okay, so now in this video basically we'll try to talk about the number of good attempts or the number of attempts that can be good for your qualifying in your interviews, and we'll see the recent trends on how questions are coming in exams. Okay, so coming to this NLC in particular, so first we'll try to deal how the questions are formulated in NLC today, and then we'll see how the generalized situation is there for technical competitive exams. Clear? So in non-technical, in NLC, NLCIL GET 2020, we got quantitative aptitude in this non-technical, and this quantitative aptitude was asked for 10 marks, means 10 questions came from here. And if you analyze the sessions that were conducted today, this quantitative aptitude was from easy to moderate, but of course it involved a lengthy calculations. Basically questions appeared from the topic of work and time, and then they also appeared from speed and distance and things like that, partnerships, discount on a particular item and all. And of course they came for 10 marks, and of course the level, if you ask me, they are from easy to moderate. Easy to moderate, and it's a quite chance, it's possible that many of the students might do this quantitative for more than 7 to 8 marks easily. Okay, but they involve a little calculations that could be time consuming. So since this is the first session, or the first part of the non-technical session, many of you might feel nervous when you open the question paper, but this question paper was made easy to moderate in a total basis. And now coming into the second part, we got logical reasoning, and in logical reasoning questions appeared from basically blood relations, then number series. You know, they'll give certain series of numbers and they'll ask you to find the missing term. So questions from basically blood relations, then finding the number series has appeared from this, and they were also asked for 10 marks. And this logical reasoning and arrangement, so if you would like to write blood relations, and then you know you got questions from number series, and also you got again few questions from, you know, basically this logic. In this logical reasoning you got also from arrangement, like 5-8 items are arranged in some order and all, so arrangements and all this. And coming to this logical reasoning, they are moderate. This section was asked in a moderate level of difficulty. So there's a quite possible chance again that out of these 10 questions that were asked here, many of the students can easily go for some 6 to 7 questions without any difficulty. Okay, but only thing is you need to make your questions very clear, and we'll talk about this technical in the later part. First of all, let us try to deal this non-technical part. So now the third discipline that they came for is from general knowledge. General knowledge, which is very common in many of the technical exams today, excluding GATE. For example, if you go for SSC or some other exams conducted standardly, they are asking for this general knowledge, but of course for less marks, so you need not worry much. But they have asked for 5 marks today, and this questions involve some articles, basically in what article this particular amendment was done and all, and few questions they have also asked from recent amendment policies by central government. Okay, and few questions came from geography as well. So people who are preparing for SSC and other state level government exams, they could easily answer these questions which are asked in this particular general knowledge session. And also one question related to your discipline also came. What is the atomic nature of helium. You know, helium is a monoatomic molecule because you never write any combination. So this is one question out of those 5, and total it was asked for 5 marks again, and based on some chemical formula in general, and also some geography, one question from geography, a particular temple was located in which state and all. So total 5 questions were asked in this particular domain, and total there are 5 marks. And people who have minimum knowledge on this SSC and other exams including that will be able to write that. So this is considered as easy session because questions were very common. You know, if you recall daily newspapers, you could easily answer those questions. And next, there came few questions from data interpretation. And you know, this data interpretation was a bit lengthy today, you know, and we can classify this as moderate again because it's not difficult, but the questions were a bit lengthy, and identifying the values from the graphs they gave you, it's really difficult from this particular data interpretation. Okay, and there came many questions today in which you will be focusing on values from particular graphs and you need to answer them. And in this data interpretation, again they have asked for 10 marks, and then finally there came English into the picture, where they have asked for sentence corrections, some meanings or synonyms and all, synonyms, sentence corrections and all they have asked here, sentence corrections and all they have asked here, and this English is also asked for 5 marks again. Okay, so total if you see this English, it's a basic English that we could deal with daily. Of course, of the questions came of the standard of GATE, so this English can also be written as easy under this. Okay, so now totally if you see, total 40 marks they came from non-technical, and this contributed for 40 marks of course, and this exam is totally for 120 marks. Okay, out of which 80 marks are from your mechanical discipline or respective core discipline. Okay, so this is how the non-technical section was distributed today in 2 shifts. You know that for mechanical it was held in 2 shifts, so this is how the marks were distributed in 2 shifts. And the level of each and every section, quantitative aptitude, logical reasoning, data interpretation, general knowledge and English, was easy to moderate, but the paper appeared in a total way from easy to moderate with very basic questions that were asked. Okay, so next, coming to the most important aspect, technical has contributed for 80 marks in this paper. You have seen how 40 marks have been contributed for non-technical, and you have seen how different sections are level of difficulty of different sections, correct? So now we'll move on to technical session, which has 80 marks weightage in this particular exam, and we'll see what are the topics that were asked basically in this particular thing. So in technical, coming to the basic subject of mechanics or engineering mechanics, you know, very simple things came. For example, if there are 3 forces acting on a system, for example, if this is a particle and if 3 forces are acting, then what is the condition for this system to be in equilibrium? Means for the net force to be on this system to be 0, what is the condition? And options are something like the resultant of any 2 forces should be collinear and in opposite to the direction of this other third force, correct? So they have asked you some basic definitions for conditions of equilibrium, which anyone with basic mechanical engineering knowledge could answer this. And questions of mechanics involved only this particular question in practice. So they have asked for basic definitions. For example, equilibrium of a particle, what is the system of forces acting and all. And second, if you consider strength of materials, or you can call this as mechanics of solids sometimes, questions came from twisting moment and bending moments actually. So basically they are a bit easier topic. So if there are both bending moment and torque acting on a system, then you know formulas for equivalent bending moment and equivalent torque. So they are asking you, when you subject a system to both bending moment and torque, what could be the effect of stresses on that particular body? Okay, so this is what they've asked for in strength of materials. So basically they have asked some basic definitions of stress and some involvement of the stress variations and all, correct? So this again they came for basic formulas that they asked. Okay, and now coming to the machine design, they have given a bit more weightage here. In machine design, they have asked something about springs. You know, they have asked you what is the shear stress factor for a closely coiled spring by giving the mean coil diameter and the spring diameter. You know, shear stress factor is equal to 1 plus 1 by 2c, and this c is the spring index. So c is equal to mean coil diameter by wire diameter. So if you know this, c is equal to d by d. This d is given and this d is also given. So you will be able to calculate what is the shear stress factor. Okay, so if you know the spring index C, it's very easy for you to calculate this particular shear stress factor. Okay, this is one question that came from design. So again, they have asked you questions from welded joints. They've asked you what is the formula for. They have asked you what's the formula for tensile load on a double transverse welded joint. So depending on the situations, you can write the formula with the options that are given here. And they have asked you a few questions again from bearings, one from bearings and one from brakes, asbestos linings and all. Some theoretical questions basically. So asbestos lining. So these are basically the questions that came from machine design, and comparatively in machine design, the questions are a bit theoretical. For example, they have asked you what's the temperature this can sustain, what is the kind of load that acts on these bearings, and they have also given you some basic formulas on this machine design. So comparatively, if you talk about theory of machines as well, in theory of machines, they stressed on the topic of gears. They have asked you if you have some gear train and then the number of teeth is proportional to what? This is the question actually. Number of teeth on the gears is proportional to diametral pitch, inversely proportional to pitch diameter and all these things. So this is what you have. Since D is equal to MT, means if a number of gears are involved in a gear train, this module has to be a main constant. So you can feel this T is directly proportional to the pitch diameter. So this is what they gave you. And of course, this is a very basic formula that can be answered at that particular moment. Okay. So if you see, again here, they have gone for some basic definitions on gears, and also one question they have asked from governors. They have asked from governors, and they have asked you in a watt governor, when a ball is rotating at certain angular speed, then what is the height of the sleeve lift? There's a simple formula, H is equal to G by omega square for a watt governor. Correct? If you can recall, see one thing, if you remember all the all the basic concepts of a subject, this paper is really easy to answer today. Okay, and cutoff, there's a high chance that cutoff can be a bit more as well. We'll talk what is the expected cutoff and all in today's lecture by this end. So there are simple equations that, of course, since calculator is not allowed for this particular exam, they gave you a simple set of equations by which you can easily answer the questions. Okay, this is what they have mentioned here. And coming to the chapter of vibrations, they have asked you regarding vibration isolation and also some basic formulas for calculating frequency. One particular question was given in such a way that, for a damped vibrating system, this mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx is equal to 0 is the basic governing equation. So they have given you all these values of m, c, k. Then they asked you to find what is the damped frequency of the vibration, which is easy to calculate from this particular formula. Omega damped is equal to k by m minus c square by 4m square. Correct? This formula. So if you substitute, numbers were given in such a way that this calculation will be very easy to calculate. Clear? So this is how questions were asked from basic formulas and from basic definitions. They didn't go they didn't go for any in-depth concepts actually, but they evolved around these things. So this is how design module was asked, means basically from these topics questions turned out, and this design module can be comparatively easy to answer for the given situations. Okay, so clear. Next we'll go for thermal module. We'll see how, and marks distribution from these questions are around some 20 marks, 20 to 25, not more than that. Okay, next, if you go for thermal module, we'll see from basic thermodynamics. Questions were asked on first law of thermodynamics, basically FLT, first law of thermodynamics, where they have given you out of this del Q minus del W is equal to du. Out of these three quantities, they have given these two quantities, and they asked you what is du, which is a very simple calculation to perform at that particular instant. Next, after first law of thermodynamics, they have also asked some questions on this second law, basically the concept of heat engines. In concept of heat engines, they have given a heat engine. They told you for a given heat input QH, what is the heat rejected, and they have given the mechanical efficiency of the engine. Now, can you find, if you know the mechanical efficiency and if you know what is the heat supplied, can you calculate the work output from the engine? Yes or no? Please tell me. Can you, if you have both efficiency of the mechanical efficiency of this engine that's running here, and of course the heat supplied to this particular heat engine, can you calculate this work out? And if you know what is work out, can you calculate this fuel? It involves just 2 steps of calculation, and that question was asked in this case today. Okay, and next, after the concept of heat engines, there came one question from Entropy, where this question can be challenged actually when it was given, because in the options of this question, actually, what is the units of change in entropy or generally entropy kilojoule per Kelvin, correct? And in answer, I mean in the options which were given for this question, there is no K in the denominator. They have given the options with kilojoule, so which means they have given something that's not correct here. So you can challenge this question whenever there is a possibility of challenging. Okay, so now they have given you, okay, if you consider the change of units, then they have given you there is one particular body, one from which some heat is going out and the same heat is supplied to some other body too. Of course, these two are at two different temperatures, T1 and T2. Then they are asking what's the change in entropy. They have given what is this Q. They have mentioned both these temperatures. Can you calculate entropy change? Entropy change is nothing but entropy change of first body plus entropy change of second body. You know, first body is losing heat at this particular temperature T1. So minus Q by T1 plus Q by T2. That's it. They have given all this T1, Q and T2 and they asked you to calculate delta S. So it's very simple to calculate delta S at this particular moment if you know all these three values, correct? So this question doesn't take any bit time and this is just a basic definition of entropy, that you know ds for any system is equal to del Q by T. Of course, when we assume reversibility and all, it's a different case. So ds is equal to del Q by T is what we should know for answering this particular question, correct? Can you all follow me? And are you getting idea what are the concepts that are asked in the exam and what's the level of difficulty of the exam by looking at all these examples? And all these examples are the questions that were asked in today's exam. Can you all please respond? Please type in the chat box. Can you all understand what's the level of difficulty of the exam by looking at the examples that we are discussing here? All of you. Okay, so next, once entropy was given, they have asked some question about availability. And they have asked something like irreversibility of a system. Irreversibility of a system is the question, and options are something like increases entropy and few other things were given here. But you know, irreversibility of a system is nothing but T naught into S dot generation. Then you know this S generation increases if irreversibility increases, correct? Because you know in a irreversible path your entropy generation will be more, so which means you know if there is some irreversibility it increases your entropy, because you know delta S is equal to integral del Q by T plus S dot generation, correct? And you know this is always a positive quantity and this directly dependent upon irreversibility. So if this is more, then definitely this will be more, which means this change increases, correct? Yes or no? Can I mean by that the irreversibility in a system will increase my entropy? Yes or no? Please respond. And it's a basic understanding of the concept of irreversibility and entropy changes, correct? Or is there any difficult thing that involved here? No, right? So this is one such question. It was asked in thermodynamics, and yeah, basically these are the questions that came from basic thermodynamics, and they are very easy to answer only if you have just basic understanding of the concepts. Okay, next, basic applied thermodynamics. We got few questions from applied thermodynamics. Where they have asked you something about gas refrigeration system. You know, gas refrigeration system. And whoever attended this class on refrigeration by me, they have already know this aircraft refrigeration is depending upon this gas refrigeration, correct? Did I mention this point in my course when I am teaching this? Yes or no? People who attended, you can tell me. During this aircraft refrigeration, the refrigeration cycle that we adopt is gas refrigeration cycle there, correct? And of course, to be particular, we use the reversed Brayton cycle, which is also called the Bell-Coleman cycle, correct? Or it's also called as Joule cycle. So if you see, this gas refrigeration is what we use in aircraft refrigeration. So the question is something like this. This aircraft refrigeration uses gas refrigeration, vapor compression refrigeration, vapor absorption refrigeration. These are the options. So what could be the correct option for this? It's a gas refrigeration cycle. And to be more clear, this is the cycle that we are going to use in aircraft cooling. Okay, this is one question from refrigeration. And actually 2-3 questions have been asked from this particular topic of refrigeration. So in refrigeration, they have asked few basic questions as well. You know, 1 ton of refrigeration is equal to 211 kilojoule per minute. They have asked the question in such a way that 420 kilojoule per minute of refrigeration effect, 420 kilojoule per minute of refrigeration effect is equal to dash tons of refrigeration. Dash tons of refrigeration. This is the question they have asked in this exam. So if you know this, then can you calculate what does this 420 kilojoule per minute equal to? They have given the options like 2, 4, 6, 8, something like this. So you know the nearest integer is 2. So if 211 is 1 ton, then 420 should be nearly 2 tons, which could be answered here. Okay, yeah, it's an easy question. So that was a question today. And also they have asked in an Electrolux refrigerator, in an Electrolux refrigerator, this question I have already discussed with the steel plant batch that attended in this institute. So in an Electrolux refrigerator, you know what's the conditions? Ammonia is the refrigerant and water is absorbent. And of course, hydrogen will boost up this absorption process and increase the refrigeration effect of the cycle. Correct? You know, this is a vapor absorption refrigeration system basically, and ammonia vapors, which is where this acts as a refrigerant, will be absorbed by water, which is absorbent. You remember this? We are talking about this few days back. So, and there is hydrogen also involved in this system, which of course increases the rate of absorption of this ammonia into this water. This is VARS. Clear? So this is just having the knowledge of VARS could help you in answering this question. So 3 questions and nearly 3 to 4 questions were asked from this refrigeration, and of course there is no scope of psychometry in today's exam as far as shift 2 and 1s are considered. So this refrigeration was asked, was given a bit more importance. And coming to IC engines, they gave one particular question that they have given what is indicated power, and they have also given what is mechanical efficiency of the engine. Then they asked for what is friction power or friction losses. Can you calculate this? If these two are given, you know from basic engine terminology that this mechanical efficiency is nothing but brake power divided by indicated power. So if you know this indicated power and if you know this mechanical efficiency, you can calculate what is this brake power. And you know this friction power is nothing but indicated power minus brake power. So indicated power is already given in the question. Brake power you can calculate by the help of these two quantities. So you can calculate what is friction power. Of course, values are very simple that you can solve them very easily at that instant. Okay, so this is the question that they asked for. Next, once they finished IC engines, then they have also asked for basically gas compressor, gas power cycles. You know, compressor is one basic part. So they asked for compressors. Some basic theoretical question on compressors. So this is how the thermodynamics topic was divided by them. And then coming to fluid mechanics, they have asked some basic, very basic definitions like what is the Reynolds number? They have asked the definition of Reynolds number. And what is the Reynolds number? It's nothing but inertia forces divided by viscous forces. Correct? You know this definition. They have asked what is this definition of Reynolds number, and they gave different formulas: inertia by viscous by elastic forces, and all these things. But of course, you know the correct option that Reynolds number is nothing but inertia forces divided by viscous forces. And unfortunately, there are no questions from Newton's law of viscosity or fluid kinematics, basically involving some stream functions and all. There are no such questions. But yeah, inertia by viscous forces is the answer. You know this. So they have asked about this Reynolds number in fluid mechanics, and in fluid mechanics, a lot of focus is put on turbo machinery actually. And this turbo machinery is actually a very important topic even for GATE and engineering services, because all the fluid mechanics that you learn will be applied for turbo machinery to generate power and all. Correct? So in turbo machinery, they have asked for specific speed of turbine. They have asked for specific speed of turbine for which the formula is N root P divided by H power 5/4. Correct? This is the formula for specific speed of the turbine, where H is the total head of the turbine and this P is the power produced at a rotating speed of N. Correct? This is a very simple formula that you could remember from your undergraduation course. So this is what they have asked for. And also they have asked for maximum efficiency of Pelton wheel. The relation between jet speed and the wheel speed. You know, if you know V is the jet speed and U is the wheel speed at which wheel is rotating in the Pelton wheel, then you know they have asked you what is the relation for these two. And they have put 2 more questions on turbo machinery. And in fluid mechanics, only from particular fluid mechanics that number of questions asked were a bit less, but in turbo machinery, number of questions asked were a bit more when compared to all others. Okay, and coming to heat transfer, they have asked very basic questions. You know, they asked you lumped heat analysis is valid when Biot number is less than 0.1. Correct? So they gave the question like lumped heat analysis is valid when buyout number is less than. Options are 0.1, 0.01 and some other options. And of course, when buyout number is less than some particular value, this, when buyout number is less than some particular value, your lumped heat analysis can be applied without any difficulty. So this is what you got here. And next, once you finish this, they have asked a question about heat exchangers also, that for a given temperature change, the logarithmic mean temperature difference, LMTD, will be high in case of a counter flow heat exchanger than compared to a parallel flow heat exchanger. It's known to us from standard results that LMTD of a counter flow heat exchanger for the same inflow and outflow of fluids, inflow and outflow conditions of the fluids, that performance of a counter flow heat exchanger will be more. So this LMTD will be more in this case. This is one question that came from heat exchangers. They have asked you one question about shape factors, about a hemispherical and a flat base. So if you have a hemispherical on a flat plate, then what is, if you call this surface as 1 and if this flat surface as 2, then what is F12? This is what they have asked you for. So shape factor of this hemispherical surface with respect to this flat surface. This is one question that came here. And also there are a few questions from correlations, on Nusselt number. They have asked you Nusselt number correlation, and also they have asked you what is the relation between laminar boundary, hydrodynamic boundary layer and thermal boundary layer with respect to Prandtl number. Hydrodynamic boundary layer divided by thermal boundary layer is equal to Prandtl number whole power 1/3. You know this relation. So they have put this relation for 1 mark again. So if you see, this is the thermal module that came in today paper, and total thermal module they have asked for some 30 to 35 marks. And also there are some miscellaneous questions from thermodynamics. They gave something about combustion. They gave some question about combustion, like the question is something like this: 1 kg of hydrogen for complete combustion needs dash kg of oxygen, and it produces dash kg of H2O. This is the question that was asked. So you have 1 kg of combustion. So for complete combustion, how many kgs of oxygen you need and how many kgs of total water you will be getting after the chemical reaction. This is what the question is. And of course, if you apply a simple mass balance, you could get this as 8 kg and this as 9 kg total, because total mass has to be conserved. So 1 plus 8 should you get 9 kgs in the product. Okay, this is what the answer is. It's 8 and 9. Okay, because whoever is having doubt in this question, I would like to answer it for them. See carefully. Never apply mole balance. Okay, mole balance is never applicable, but you can always go for mass balance. So if you see 1 kg of hydrogen, normally if you write the chemical reaction, H2 plus O2 will give you H2O. So since this question has also come in GATE and also in many other exams, I would like to solve this question here. So to balance this equation, let us put this. Now the molecular weight of H2 will be 2 gram per mole or kg per kilomole. For oxygen, this is 32. For water, it is 16 plus 2, 18. Correct? So since there are 2 times of H2O, so 2 times of 18 grams, this is 32 and this is 2 times of 2. Means 4 grams of hydrogen need 32 grams of oxygen, and total it produces 36 grams of water. 4 plus 32 is equal to 36. So if this is 1 kg, then this will be 8 kgs, this will be 9 kgs. Okay, so total you need 8 kgs of oxygen and 9 kgs of water will be produced at a given instant. So this is a simple analysis that you can perform and you can answer this question. Okay, so now coming to the module of materials and industrial engineering and operations research. If you talk about this particular module from material science, they have asked you few questions which could talk about the stress strain curves of the diagrams, basically, which is also in the GATE syllabus for you. So stress strain curves they have asked, or stress strain relations, basically. So if you are strain aging, the yield point decreases and all these things. So they have asked few questions on heat treatment of steels, different temperatures and all, and also different melting point of materials and all they have asked in today's class, in today's exam. So this is stress strain actually. So this is what we have. Stress strain relations and heat treatment of steels is also asked at this moment first, and then we have also talked about some process, basically like brazing and all. So coming to the manufacturing, in the manufacturing module, they have asked things about basically some casting riser design. Basically, what is the length to or diameter to height ratio of a casting riser? This is what the question came from. And also to produce circular patterns, what should be the pattern? What should be the kind of pattern, like segmental pattern or split pattern, something. So based on different pattern, patterns, questions came. And also in from welding, there is one question. So this was uniformly distributed. Actually, whatever the process that are involved in manufacturing, they were uniformly distributed, and around some 5 to 6 marks came from this different manufacturing process. And from IE and OR, industrial engineering and operations research, they have asked about Gantt charts, and also they talked something about simplex method, which you use in this linear programming. And also they talked about this basic operations research methods that involve pattern used for gears and all. So basically segmental pattern could be better for having precision while manufacturing this. So these are how questions turned out, and total marks from this section I have not lasted between 15 to 20, and this question is, this section was a bit moderate. Okay, this is how the total technical was split here, and these are this is how questions came from different topics in technical. These are from mechanics, completely mechanics module, engineering mechanics, strength of materials, machine design, theory of machines and vibrations, and this is about thermal module. So you can see these are the areas where questions have been asked in this particular exam of NLC. So, and this is how the questions from rest of the things came here. So paper, if you see complete paper, there is nothing like a bit difficult here, but total paper, if you see, out of 120, the paper is easy to moderate in general. It's not difficult, easy to moderate. And now, how many attempts could be a good attempt? Yeah, I'll give you Vignesh in today's class of mathematics, no worries. So please see here. So the total question paper, it was easy to moderate, and of course there is no difficulty plus. And safe attempts means for writing, for getting a call from the interview, as you know, the total vacancies are 125, and it was given in the notification that the calling ratio will be 6:1 for the interview. So 6 into 125 will give you 725 around. So 725 people will be called for interviews. And one important factor that we should consider here is the attendance is not 100% for today's exam. Of course, it's very much less than 90, I guess, because as far as even I attempted this to know the paper and all. So if you see the holding all these conditions, huge number of vacancies, and considering the attendance to be a bit less for the exam and all, the safe attempts, I could say, could be around 85 to 90. Okay, because paper was very easy, so whoever has attempted it might definitely go for some good number of questions. Okay, and of course, I know non-technical is a bit time taking, but still they could have enough time to cover that time in this technical part, because many of the theoretical questions and very simple calculation questions were asked here. So it's very easy to manage the things. So safe attempts could be 85 to 90 out of these things, and marks should be more than 80 as far as our analysis is concerned. You can get all this information about any job notifications or any technical content in this website, http.engineershub.com. So if you click engineershub.com, if you type Google engineershub.com in your system, you can get the information about what this institute is and all about. Then for every exam we conduct, we'll be launching this analysis session after every exam, so you could get some knowledge on these exams. And recently this RINL Vizag steel plant has also announced its date for its management training exam. So keep revising the things. Okay, don't stop your revision at any moment. So this is what you have, and whatever the videos that we are taking here, or whatever the lectures that we are taking on this channel, for every video we'll be updating the notes on these particular 2 Telegram links. This link is exclusively for mechanical students, and this link is for all others, ECE, TIPLE and all, and we'll be dealing with all branches as well. So we'll be updating our notes or any material that's available in these 2 links. Okay, and these are our official phone numbers which you can dial at any moment to get any information regarding, or you can dial at any moment for your guidance as well. And if you want to physically visit us offline, definitely we'll most welcome you. And the institute is located in Andhra Pradesh in Visakhapatnam, so you can always find a way to our office using this website at all instances. So clear? Did you all understand what are the topics that were focused on NLC and how the paper was designed basically? Clear to all of you? And please, if you're liking this session of that, the way we are analyzing the things, you can always like the videos and you can share them with your friends who have also attempted this particular exam today. And also you can write in the feedback in the comment box, and you can subscribe to this channel if you are visiting here for the first time. Because if you subscribe here, subscribe the channel, then every time we launch some video, you'll be getting notified so that you can visit that video live. Okay, it's not like you will be watching something recorded, but you will be watching live at that particular moment. Clear to all of you? So if there are some newcomers here, so please subscribe the channel if you are here for the first time. Okay, so that every time we launch, after every exam, if you are putting some discussion session, you will be available with us. Clear? Any doubts to any one of you? And of course, this we are also launching some free courses for helping the students, and one such course is on progress right now. That is revision and previous gate question solving of engineering mathematics. That classes happen every day from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. So if some of you are interested, you can definitely join over there. Clear to all of you? Is there any doubt to any one of you? Is there any doubt to any one of you? Is that fine? Did you all understand this? What's happening here? Clear? So keep practicing for the exams. As you know, there is only 2 months hardly left for gate examination. So keep revising the things, okay, frequently. Don't pause your revision or don't leave your revision, because if you see, all these questions are very simple questions. But since we forgot some basics, we may not answer all 80 questions, correct? But the questions, if you take, they are pretty much easy. That's the same scenario with every other exam. Generally, if you are strong at basics, definitely you can answer 90% or 80%, 85% of the questions easily. Clear? So try to have a minimal knowledge on all subjects rather than having a strong knowledge on 1 or 2 subjects. Okay. Because having basic knowledge on every subject will help you in exams. It not matter if I write all the 10 thermodynamics questions correctly and then leaving all the remaining paper. Correct? It should not be in that way. So try to have minimal knowledge on each and every subject at least. So I hope that's clear. Then thank you all. Have a nice time.